Joining us now, CAL FIRE Public Information Officer Colin Noyes. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Let me ask you, we've seen a lot of the Phos-Chek, that's that pink stuff, dropped on the mountainside, dropped in some of the canyons. Explain exactly what firefighters are trying to do ahead of these potentially dangerous winds.
Yeah, so when it comes to the fire retardant that has been dropped on the ridges, currently that is still in place, and that will prevent any further spread, or at least slow further spread of any fire outside of the current perimeter. As far as what we're doing to be prepared into the future for this ongoing wind event until Wednesday evening, we have thousands of firefighters here at on the Palisades fire, over 5,000 of them currently, and numerous fire engines, numerous air resources to not only continue the suppression of the Palisades fire to our ultimate goal of 100%, but also in the case where there's new starts, we can respond out to those either from our incident command posts, our staging areas, or also have engines come off of the line and respond out, whichever is closer to suppress those fires as quickly as possible.
Have the super scoopers been able to get back into the air? I know one was damaged by a civilian flown drone.
I don't have information on whether the super scooper is back in the air. We did have a drone strike on one of the Canadian super scoopers. That is a very unfortunate event, and I'm sure that they're working on repairing that plane.
One of the areas of concern for residents and frankly, areas of frustration is they just felt there weren't enough firefighters in place ahead of these fires. Obviously, there's discussion about that. There's investigations. There's also just the sheer strength and scope of these fires and the wind conditions. What are you doing right now to ensure people who are still worried, people who might live in Brentwood or Encino, areas that are currently being threatened potentially, that you guys are doing everything you can?
Yeah, we have crews on the ground 24 hours a day, and the crews don't leave the line until the crew shows up. So there's constantly boots on the ground out there. They're mopping up any sort of potential problems, heat in the line within 300 feet or more. We've established what's called contingency lines, which are either dozer lines, lines, retardant lines around outside of the actual fire boundary. So if there was an escape, our contingency, either primary or secondary, and in some cases even tertiary contingency lines, are meant to stop and slow the spread outside of the current containment.
What about the accusation? What about the accusation? This is coming from Rick Caruso, but also a lot of folks, that there was too much brush out there and the brush needed to be cleared. And part of the reason this fire got so out of control was that there was just too much density up in the hills. Is that true?
Well, it's true that there hasn't been a fire within the last 40 to 50 years out here. So you get that 40 to 50-year growth on the brush, and you do get a dead component under there. So there could be a truth to there is, these hills do grow brush very well, as it is Southern California. So yeah, without a frequent fire return interval, you're going to get heavy brush in places.
What's the difficulty in doing controlled burns to prevent this sort of thing?
Controlled burns can be hard. There's definitely challenges to conducting controlled burns, especially around large populations of folks, because there are smoke impacts and things like that. So yeah, there's definitely challenges associated with doing prescribed fire around urban and wildland urban interface areas.
Colin Noyes of LA Fire, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. And thank you for CAL FIRE, excuse me. Thank you for all the work you guys and women are doing out there. It's dangerous, but it's important. It's also really appreciated.
No problem. Thank you.
And you can scan the QR code on your screen right now for more information on how to contribute to relief efforts for people who are impacted by the California wildfires. You can also go to msnbc.com, nbcnews.com. You can find that information there as well.